I get some responses on the video that I made where I said that young people should be very, very angry and very, very active in fighting climate change and getting people to respond to it, because the whole political process that's going on is not reaping any fruit fast enough. The US is not committing to any reductions compared to the Kyoto Protocol, and that's not enough. It's going to be 16 tons per capita in 2020 emission, and any emission of carbon is putting, let's say, fuel on the fire of global warming. It is a process where you have, it's like a scale. If you put too much on one side, it will tip to that side. The climate already has tipped to the side of warming, and whatever you put on that side, if it's carbon dioxide, is just making it more difficult to come back to the side where it gets a little bit cooler. There's no debate about the science. There's only a mainstream media that is indoctrinating people and scaring the shit out of them, confusing them, and that's all also political. So let's say there's a big giant pudding that is on top of everything, that doesn't respond to reality, but only responds to let's say shoving the money to people that would like to have it. And they play a game. It's a political game of power that is going to basically kill a lot of people, and it's going to be detrimental to the younger generation, to the young people at the moment. Anybody that says that climate change is not happening is basically a genocidal maniac in my eyes. They are not considering, they are talking out of their own egotistic interest, and it's, I think, very frustrating, or it must be very frustrating for younger people to see that they have to grow up until they're about 30 years old or 35 years old, and they can become a leader in the political arena, and then they might have influence. That is too late. They say that the hard decisions to go to zero, carbon zero, have to be made in the next couple of years. If you have seen This Is It of Michael Jackson, the movie, he says it exactly. He says we have 4 years time to get it right, and that's exactly it. We have 4 years time to radically change course. And don't think that it is impossible. It is perfectly possible. That's why these videos are called Clean Wealth videos. It's perfectly possible to go to zero emissions. You just have to make sure that nobody is trying to profit from that process excessively, that no banker or energy company or oil company is involved in the decision process, because they are all working for their own interests, and these are all people that are older, and apparently, let's say a large portion of them, or an important portion of them, simply wants to have their careers. It's a false trophy effect, where they want to have a career in oil, while it's simply a very, very destructive thing to do. And the sooner you have your economy and your wealth based on carbon zero or non-carbonic energy sources, the sooner you can be completely independent as a country and create a lot of wealth, because the only thing that energy does for you is work. And it doesn't really matter what type of energy it is. It can be solar, wave, geothermal energy, and you just have to get to it, and the sooner the better. And if you're young and you have parents that you can influence, and of course you can, because the whole marketing system is usually geared to, let's say, the 17 or 14 till 25-year-old generation that's living with their parents sometimes, and of course the parents are the earners and the kids are the spenders. Make them spend on clean energy, and not and it's such a good investment, because once you're let's say energy independent as a family, as a home, that is on the long term. If you look a little bit beyond 5 years, then your energy is free, and you don't have to worry about anything about the rising inflation cost and etc. It's just amazing, and you can even sell the stuff to your neighbors, and you can help your neighbors get cheap energy installations. And as young people, you should not consider yourself incapable. I just read about I'm reading a funny book about Napoleon in Egypt, and it is really funny if you know how clumsily he went about that thing. Everybody knows about Napoleon. I'm not talking about Napoleon Dynamite, but the French leader Napoleon. And at a certain point he was running out of soldiers in his army in Egypt. He was completely stranded, and his country really didn't care too much about it. He was there. The Egyptians didn't like him. And he was recruiting Africans. He was buying slaves in Darfur. And he was buying recruits in Mameluke recruits in Romania, which was Turkish dominated. And they were aged 8 to 14. That was his army. That's the guys that he thought were capable of defending the French interests in Egypt. See, that's a different take on ageism. Let's say there is ageism going on, and it's not the discrimination of the old people; it's this discrimination of the young people. And I hope you start realizing that, and it's really your future that's being fucked up by these people.